Hey guys, in this video we're going to be talking about how to master your success by understanding your psychology. Now that might seem very overwhelming or complicated, but guess what? It's actually quite simple. And the reason is because I stumbled across this incredible book. It was recommended by Bill Gates in his annual book recommendation thing, which I love. And it's just so understandable. I think most people can just understand it. It's not like a dense or complicated book. And it just goes into a lot of detail on psychology and success. Specifically, it focuses on two types of people. People with a fixed mindset and people with a growth mindset. And the ones with a growth mindset, they were the ones who did much better in a lot of areas. They were much more able to estimate their abilities and so forth. So what is a fixed mindset and what is a growth mindset, and what can you take from it? First off, I recommend you read the book, or at least check it out and read a couple of words in it, because really it just hooks you in and you can learn so much about becoming successful yourself at life. And specifically, I want to highlight one thing from the book on how you can learn to succeed. You have to free yourself from society's expectations and standards, because they can cripple you and force you into the fixed mindset. So again, back to what is a fixed mindset. It's someone who believes that you are how you are and there's nothing you can do to change it. You're just that smart, these are your abilities and this is how it will be for the rest of your life, and you can't really develop your social skills or your style or fashion, or you can't do better in school, or you can't learn how to become better, or learn how to make more money or become better at business. A growth mindset, they understand that it's flexible. And one thing highlighted by the author of this book, I believe her name's Dweck, is that what she has found through studying thousands of children is that when they are born, they're very open to learning and growing and all sorts of stuff. But then when they start to mature and they enter school, they look around, and society and all these standards cripple some of them and put them into the fixed mindset. Because rather than just learning and not caring about whether they fail or not, all of a sudden they start measuring themselves against their peers and measuring themselves by the grades they get and the awards they get and the status and teams. And they're so scared of failing that they stop trying. They stop learning and they choose to prevent themselves from learning and stumbling and failing. Even though they did when they were young and they didn't care if they didn't succeed the first time they tried to walk. Now all of a sudden, a lot of these people develop this fixed mindset where, they don't even try to get better at anything anymore, whether it's learning about science or getting better at a specific sport, because they have developed this fixed mindset of, this is how it is. I don't want to fail or look like a failure, because then I don't look as good. And I think a lot of these concepts are constantly stressed by very successful people. Let's look at some of the most successful businessmen and investors of history. John Templeton, in his book, it's called 21 Secrets of Success and Happiness. Now this guy, he didn't really have a scientific background, but one of his pieces of advice, and by the way, I recommend you read his book because it's really short. It's like 50 pages or something like that. But the book says in one of its points, in one of its 21 secrets, is you have to keep learning. Most people stop learning at the age of 21 when they graduate college. If you keep learning every day, you will slowly build up an advantage over that person who doesn't. So just think about it, like the person who's 50 years of age, who's constantly reading books and learning and developing each day. Compare that to the man who's 50 years of age and hasn't read a single book or done anything to better himself other than watch TV when he's 50 years of age. So this is, again, a huge thing I stress throughout all my videos. Again, I say it like every 4 videos I talk about this concept. And let's look at another two of the best investors in the history of the world, Charlie Munger and Bill Gates. You can look this up because there's tons of interviews where he talks about this. Just search it up, Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett interview. There's only like 3 on YouTube. And so there's a short clip from one of them, and it's everywhere on the internet. But he says, we're not that smart. We're not that better intellectually than a lot of our competitors. The only thing, well, he didn't say the only thing. He said one of the big things that make us so good is that we're lifelong learners. You know, and then he points to Warren Buffett and he says, Warren Buffett is so much better at the age of 80 than he was at 50. Why is that the case? Because he's constantly learning and developing. And this goes straight back to the growth mindset. And in the book, it poses a few quizzes and questions asking you which mindset you are. And when I try to answer these questions, it was just like, you know, I'm kind of blocked by a few of these a bit. And I'm surprised because I feel like a lot of people, sometimes it's family and friends, they definitely have a fixed mindset. And it can be tough when you surround yourself with people who kind of give you these opinions and it seeps into your subconscious. So there's an importance of surrounding yourself with the right people. And I found for myself and a lot of other people that they have these beliefs that point to you having a fixed mindset. For instance, there's a question that was asked in the book that said, do you believe that you cannot change certain basic features about yourself and that these are just set in stone and you can't change it? Or do you believe that you can change these things and develop them fully? And I heard a lot of people say stuff like, I'm getting old, I can't change. And arguably, I think there is some level of truth to that. Or is there? Is this part of my fixed mindset? I'm not sure. And arguably, I think there is some truth to it because even Warren Buffett, he said, habits are what make us. We're creatures of habits. The chains of habits are only felt when they're too hard to be broken. And it's better to start earlier than later because when you're young, you can develop these and change them. But when you get older, it's very tough to change habits and so forth. So when I think about that, I think it's very true. A lot of old people, they're set in their ways and it's tough for them to flip around and flip-flop. But I definitely believe that if you have a growth mindset, you can be one of those old people who are still pretty cool and still can jump on to new things. I mean, I know quite a few old people, not everyone, but they're up to date with the latest technology and they use all sorts of new technology and they love it. So I think it's an interesting thing, and hopefully this video helped you develop some psychological abilities and understanding to succeed in life. Thanks for watching. And again, my recommended reading is that book, Mindset, The Psychology of Success. I'll leave a link below this video in the description for you to check out that book.